because of your maybe parents, maybe trauma, maybe abuse, whatever the case may be, you have a thought process of how you look at things because you are on a certain road. Okay? If you drive to San Francisco, the surrounding areas is a lot different than when you're driving in Fremont, right? So when you're driving into San Francisco, you see all these tall buildings everywhere. You got to drive up the hill, down the hill, sometimes zigzagging, and that's San Francisco. You drive in Fremont, it's busy, yes, but you don't have all these tall buildings, but it is busy, but it's a different type of atmosphere. Now you go further out to the east, you hit the rural areas of Modesto and Tracy, Fresno. It's a different type of atmosphere when you're driving, right? Less buildings, lower buildings, more farmland. You see cows, you see goats, you see sheep, all mixed in with development. More room to drive on. It's more spacious. It's not as crowded. So if you look at San Francisco, Fremont, and let's say Modesto, right? We'll just say use Modesto as a area. Then it's like somebody has their brain thought, their thought process, the way they think is one who's in San Francisco. You're gonna drive in a particular way, right? You're gonna because of the attitudes of the drivers there, the traffic conditions, you're gonna drive in a certain way. And so you have another person who lives in this area, they're gonna drive in a certain way. Their mood is gonna be different too. Okay, you got a lot of traffic here. You might even have a lot of traffic in San Francisco. You go to Modesto, less traffic, more spacious, more roomy. You might feel less stressful, right? So, and also you as an individual, wherever you go, your mood can change because of the atmosphere. So, if you're coming from a certain past and you've only been driving in San Francisco, right? You're going to be a different type of driver, different type of thinker. You're going to be fast-paced. You're going to be, just quick because it's fast-moving over there than someone who, let's say, grew up in the rural areas. They're going to be more slow. They're going to be more laid back. They're going to not be as serious. They're going to say, what's the hurry, right? Do you see? So this is the background. That's their thought process, all right? Those are the roads. You can look at it that way. So whatever situation you have come from, you have a certain style. And how you think about people, how you think about a certain situation, how you respond when you get disciplined by God or even discipline comes to you through me, how you respond is based on where you're coming from. Right? Because your thought process is if you're from San Francisco, let's say, you're thinking on how to maneuver in a city where if you were from Modesto, you're thinking how to maneuver from over there, and it's a lot different than someone who's thinking they're in San Francisco. Okay? Do you guys follow on the example I'm trying to get at? And so, when we meet Christ, you get saved, yes, but there's an old sinful nature, a former way of life. Do you see? Former way of life that is still you're clothed in, and the Bible says throw it off because this old way has been corrupted by lust and deception, which means that it's been formed and molded by the center has been your lust of the greed of life and the deception by the enemy, and it's just a corrupted past. So now God is like, okay, you're saved. So we need to get everybody into New Jerusalem. Let me use that as a city, okay? We got to get someone out of San Francisco, the thought process of spiritual San Francisco, Fremont, Modesto, and into New Jerusalem. So the New Jerusalem has gold streets, okay? It has gold streets. Everything is nice in there. Is rich, it's abundant, it's peaceful, it's not stressful, it's sunny, it's nice. The thought process of our Lord Jesus Christ. That's the new city. That's where you need to go, right? You don't just, when you get saved, you're not just plopped in there, right? We're still where we're at. But we're trying to always get to, see, you hear the term, move forward. Whether it's the promised land or the promised land is also a thought process. The thought process is the way of life, right? So the Bible says renew your mind. You have to have a different thought process. And so on the surface, if we don't know anything about science, we just use, basic boot camp methods. We can use basic boot camp by just saying, change your thought process. Maybe for some of you it might be hard, I don't know. Maybe for some of us we need to try harder, right? Maybe we just need to stop looking at certain things. Movies, TVs. Movies and TVs are not bad, but it's the content of what you watch, right? How is it affecting you? If you can't handle it and it's affecting you, then you need to stop watching it, right? What is filled in your mind? What is filled in your mind during the day? That's creating the additional rows in your mind. And so if you're going somewhere, because your mind is going somewhere as you keep thinking a certain direction. Right? But it's going on a familiar path already from what you are familiar with, and you're just making that stronger because you keep thinking about it. Now that's already built. The foundation is there, so there's memories there already, okay? The memories are there, and it's easy to remember. The hurts you can easily remember, and so when you experience people or a situation that triggers those areas, right, you easily react to it. Now, when you're asked to change, and so let's say you from Michigan, right? Because I lived in Michigan, so I know how the roads are. It's just open field, okay? One highway, just driving forever. There's no buildings. It's just fields. All right? So unless you're in the city, and the cities are only like isolated, right? It's not like the Bay Area here. It's isolated. And then it's just like farmlands and open field. And then you're just driving, and there's no lights. It just becomes dark. If you turn off the lights, it's dark. So let's say you're from Michigan, like Robert Johnson. And now he got to come to San Francisco and drive in San Francisco, right? He's going to freak out. He's going to, right? He never seen buildings this tall. His GPS is not working because the buildings are blocking the signal. He's going up these hills that's not really high, but it's high to him because he's never been high. In Michigan, it's just a little speed bump. In San Francisco, it's like, you got to go high, right? He's like, ah! You see, so that's like your old thought process, your security, your comfort level, what you think is safe, and now God wants you to come to another city, and it's just all new. It looks scary. It looks dangerous, and you just want to run back to where it's safe. Because your brain is used to what it's used to. It doesn't have the new road created in your mind for these new nerves to be used to driving a new atmosphere or new roads like San Francisco, right? So, two choices. You either tough it out and learn, or you're going to run back, right, to where it's safe, where everything's familiar. Okay? And in that familiar area, it's very easy to build more roads or build more mine roads because that's where you're familiar with, okay? There's familiarity. The memories are easier to reflect on, and it's just comfortable. So the Bible says, let's go to back to Romans, please. Transform. So in order for your body, your spirit, your soul to change, to transform, that is, you have to change the way you think. Okay? The way you think. And so, how do I change the way to think? You see, the problem today is that people are not encouraged to think. To change your thinking, you need to first think. But society is trying to take over that by see, you don't need to think anymore. You just need to go on your phone and look at, Instagram, Facebook, and whatever, and it tells you what to do, right? They got these AI and algorithms, and it'll tell you try to tell you what to shop for, tell you what to eat. So you're getting bombarded with a lot of information, and you're getting overwhelmed. And a lot of people out there are becoming very successful very fast, right? You got Amazon, Google, Beyond Meat, all these companies. These CEOs are becoming household names. They're becoming rich. They're becoming rich really fast. You want to you don't want to be left, behind, and you want to be kept up with the current trend, current songs, current rap, current news. So some people are watching, CNN or Fox News 24 hours a day. They're watching the stocks 24 hours a day. They're doing Instagram 24 hours a day. And so people are just being led. You're being led without even realizing. They're forming brain cells for you. And you're getting so used to this, right? That instead of you have a problem, okay, there's answers in the internet, good, but have you ever thought about just sitting and coming up with your own solution? Right? Instead of thinking about something, we just go find an answer. Now that's not bad all the time, but the problem is we can't come up with our own solution. We don't know how to live now. Do you see that? We don't know how to live. We don't know how, you get a problem, you don't know what to do. Because we don't have enough brain roads in that area. So if you have a road that's called creativity, we haven't driven there enough for you to have a lot of roads of creativity. And so when you need to come up with something creative, it's like you already got the map, right? It's already downloaded. It's updated. But if you haven't had time to be creative, there's no version for that, right? No update for that. Do you see that? The only road that's there is, I got to go to my mama. I got to go to my daddy. I got to go to, I don't know what to do. Or the road might be, I just don't know what to do, and I'm just going to run from it. And then all I know is that the bill's going to get bigger because that's what you're used to. All you know that is you just run from it. That's all you know, and it doesn't get taken care of. That's your life. That's your history. That's the roads that's been created. That's what you're familiar. And even when someone tries to teach you, take care of your business, that's alien. Now you want me to drive in Mexico City? That's just too hard. I don't know how to do that. You see? So you have to now, All right, so if God's like, all right, we want you out of San Francisco, Fremont, Modesto, and we're going to try to get you to drive it in New Jerusalem. So what do you got to do? You got to go practice. You got to get used to it. You got to create your roadmaps in your mind so that you could be familiar with the streets, the turns, and what's here, with the building there, right? Once you become familiar, your confidence level rises. And then when God says keep going, you don't have a problem looking at the spiritual GPS because you're already in familiar territory. Do you see that? Get rid of the old map, the old version. That's the old nature. It doesn't work. Think differently now. You're going to think differently. Think different atmosphere, different buildings, different roads, different stores, different signs. Everything's going to be different. And then once that's changed on the inside, then on the outside, your body, your attitude, your words will reflect this new change. So how do we change our mindset? Sometimes if you're mad at somebody, you're offended at somebody. Let's say you're offended at me, okay? I'll put myself as a target because I might be, some of you might be mad at me still. For something. You might not think you're not offended at me because it's not an everyday thing. But you might still be offended at me because what I said to you a long time ago, maybe I didn't understand you a long time ago. Maybe I didn't listen to you. Maybe you thought I gave somebody else favor or whatever the reason is. You might think you were disenfranchised by me. And so you had a little grudge, let's say, in the past. And you became offended because at that moment in time, you were a person who had a lot of hurt, had problem with authority, and just got easily offended at anybody, whether it was me or somebody that was going to come down on you or correct you, or whether you thought the situation was not presented to you fairly, right? So at that time when you're offended, and this is an example, because it could be me, it could be your spouse, it could be a different church member, it could be your boss. So in that moment, you're thinking, you're just mad. Right? You're mad. And you're like, okay, you can't express it, right? You can't really express it. You're just mad, right? And when you keep thinking about something, you'll be mad and you'll be offended for a period of time. That could be 1 day, 3 day, 1 week, 1 month, I don't know. But let's say, because everybody's got different time frame, and so let's say you're offended for 1 week, okay? Because 1 week, and then the weekend comes along, and that's a new church weekend. You come back to church, come back to holy dancing, praising, hear the sermon, fellowship. You feel better now, right? You feel better now. I made some jokes, and you're laughing. You loosened up, right? And then later comes a point in time, I do something, say something you don't like, you're offended again. So now you spend another period of time mad at me. So all you're doing in that moment when you're mad at me or offended at me or whoever, okay, you're creating more of that brain road. And that's becoming stronger. Because that's the path you keep walking. Okay? And then if you keep doing this, and you keep doing this, and you keep doing this, and see, in your mind, you might think, I have nothing wrong, I have nothing against the pastor. But when you keep doing this, within time, and the words that come out of your mouth, the actions you take, how you treat me, how you speak to me, is tainted. It's not pure. because there's a biasness. It's like a wife offended at a husband, right? They live with each other. Some days are good, some days are bad, but because of those bad days that's been now embedded into their minds, the wife cannot freely open up to the husband. The wife cannot freely give all of herself to him, but holds back a little, even though they say at times, I love you, right? And when the husband does something, they get more mad. It's like, more jumpy, or vice versa, okay? And so, if you have to do something for God and it has to go through me, and if you're offended at the pastor, you're going to hold back. You're going to hold back, and you're going to discount your own blessing. You're going to discount your own work that God has given you. Okay, when I say discount, you're not giving all your heart that you need to do. And so, when that area becomes too strong, because you, over the years, you let that offense, you didn't deal with it. See, you just let time kind of made it easier, right? But it's still there, because because a person may not have made a firm decision. I got to let this go, and I got to freely just open up, freely just flow with the pastors, or freely flow with my husband or wife or whoever. And it's so strong, those roles are so familiar that that person will become deceived, thinking that even if you keep thinking like that with your biasness, that God's not going to do nothing, and that you're always going to think it's the other person's fault. All right? You're always going to think it's the other person's fault. You're always going to think it's pastor's fault. You're always going to think it's your husband's fault. You're always going to think it's the wife's fault, when in fact it's everybody's fault. You see, that's one thing you got to realize, that it could be everybody's fault. But if it's everybody's fault because we're a bunch of sinners and we can't all get it right anyway, then it's your job regardless to stand down and forgive and let go and try to change yourself instead of trying to make the other person change. You see, you're trying to make the other person change. You say, no, you change your thought process on how you're going to treat me. You see that? You change your thought process. My thought process is fine. See, everybody's thought process is messed up. Everybody's wrong. So if we're all sinners and everybody's wrong, then even though someone else is wrong, even though if I'm wrong, okay, if the way I treated you has been wrong, or a moment in life during some of you, whether you've been here at the beginning or some of you have been new, if you've experienced where I did you wrong, that's God is allowing that as an opportunity for you to fix your mind. Do you see that? For you to renew your mind. That's how you got to look at things. I know it's hard because, you see, we want to think it's the other person's fault. You want to blame somebody else, right? And if you have that thought process for years, then it's really hard because you just want to blame the other person. Saying, it's your fault. All right? So, you have to think, okay, in order to change your thinking process, you have to think about how you're thinking. So the Caroline Leaf, okay, I haven't read a lot about her, but even the bits and pieces I got, and then God's like giving me some revelation on this. She said that your negative thoughts, whether that's towards somebody else or at yourself, I can't do this, right? I'm never going to get it right. See, those negative thoughts are toxic, literally toxic to your mind. And when you decide to change your thinking process and stop thinking so negatively about yourself, or decide to forgive somebody, that stronghold of the roles you created of offense and all the bad stuff, right, weakens. Okay, it weakens. It doesn't disappear. It weakens. And it creates new brain's way or path. So the new brain path is the new thoughts, right? The new thought is what? I've forgiven them. And so when you've forgiven somebody, now how you treat them, how you deal with them is a new way of thinking and talking, and your actions are different, right? So now your thought process on a new road. Do you follow this? Instead of the old road of offense and I'm mad at him or her, and then, you know, you're just coming to church out of obligation. You're not really coming out of love. Do you understand this? God will allow me to make mistakes. God will allow to blind me on certain things, whether it's me or my wife, for an opportunity for some of you to get offended. Why? It's an opportunity for you to change. See that? If you can really get a hold of this revelation that it's an opportunity for you to change, you're going to be greatly blessed. Right? You're going to be greatly blessed. Or you can just stay on that road of offense and eventually judgment or discipline comes. Right? And see, you may want to think, oh, that's not fair. See, sometimes, okay, when my wife and I, we have a disagreement, and when we have a disagreement, I strongly, with all my mind, believe she's wrong, right? I could believe she's wrong. And I want God to defend me. I want God to rebuke her, all right? I want lightning to come and something to happen. Nothing happens. So I'm thinking, what should I do? Right? Because in my mind, I really believe if we had a situation, I was thinking, she's, whatever it is that she did something to me, right? To me. So I believe that it was her fault and she's in the wrong. And I'm expecting her to apologize. I'm expecting her to bring me an offering. And it's not happening. Because there was times when God did correct her, right? And I want God to constantly correct her. But then I come to realize God's silent, right? God is silent unless my wife not telling me that maybe God told her she's wrong. Maybe she's just not telling me. But what I come to realize is, even though I knew the answer, right? My answer is, regardless, I still need to change myself, right? I put a demand on her. You change. You change to satisfy my needs. And because of that, that was causing more conflict, actually. And I decided, see, if I was stubborn and say, no, you're wrong, I'm right, I'm going to wait till God defends me or vindicates me. If I sit at that position and God's still not answering, see, if God's not answering you because you think you're so right on certain position or an issue, and you want God to vindicate you, but you're not getting an answer, you're the one who's going to end up losing at the end of the day. You're going to start decreasing. All right? God's going to get you decreasing because he's squeezing you because he's going after you. He's not going after the person you want him to go after. Do you follow that? And so I had to change my thought process. that I wasn't going to put a demand on my wife, say it's your fault and you need to change. I decided, and the reason, because my wife helped me to decide, because she had she put some words into me. And when someone puts some words into you and it makes sense, you better grab onto it. Even though you feel you're right and they're wrong, what if the person that you think is wrong is counseling you? Are you going to reject it because you're mad at them? But, a lot of time that answer is going to come from the person you're mad at. That's how God humbles you. You want the help? God's going to send the help through the person you're offended with. So until you forgive and let go to fully receive that counsel or advice, you're going to decrease. And so when she gives me the answer that I need to change, right? I could fight her, but in that moment, I knew she was right. And I decided to change my attitude. I decided to change my thinking process. And I decided to change how I look at things. And I'll give you another example. When Kalia started driving, all right, and for the parents who have driven their teenagers for the first time, see, after several lessons, and I put her on the paid lesson first. So she went on the paid lesson. The paid lesson is 3 lessons, 2 hours each with another instructor. So hopefully, they can get the really hard part out of the way and I'll just take over, right? So I take over and then I give some lessons. And after a time period, I'm thinking, okay, I'm not going to say anything no more. I'm going to expect her to know what I taught her, and I'm going to expect her to know the order, how to drive the car. Get in, start the car, or get in, seatbelt, start the car, mirror, reverse, right? I taught her this. So when I get in, I'm expecting her to know this and do this, right? But every single time, it's like new. It's like a new lesson. And if I get mad, it's because I have an expectation on her. You should know this. Why aren't you doing this? You should know you're supposed to signal. Why didn't you signal? Now, there were times where I was getting a little bit irritated because that was my thought process. You should know this. I taught you this. How many times do we have to go over this? But then I realized, see, my daughter's a little sensitive, okay? She's jumpy. So, and I'm thinking in my mind I'm being gentle. Right turn. Stop. When I say stop, it means stop. It doesn't mean slow down. So, I can tell at the same time, it's not good for her. And I'm thinking, so I'm getting frustrated. So I had to change my thought process. I decided to teach her that every time we get in the car, it's our first time. Do you understand this? It's the first time now. It's no longer. It's not 5 times. It's not 10 times. Not 20. It's the first time. And I'm going to tell her as though it's the first day of her first lesson, and I'm going to say, "What do you do?" And if she forgets, I'm going to say, "Okay, ignition or seatbelt, start, reverse, check your mirrors." You see, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to put an expectation on no more. I'm not going to put a demand of expectation that you should know this already, because then all that does is puff up my pride. Because you see, the thought process is it's out of my own selfishness. Okay, then why would I get mad, right? Why should I get mad? Why do we get mad? Because when you put an expectation on people, the root issue is, oh, you're wasting my time. I put in all this time, you're not listening, right? Or you almost got me killed, right? You're going to wreck the car. It's going to cost $1,000 in deductible. So we have this center that we're trying to protect. You're trying to protect your deductible. You're trying to protect your life. You're trying to protect your pride. You're trying to protect your time. And so when that person doesn't fulfill that expectation, we get mad. And that's been our thought process since we've been, for the longest time. Whether you have an expectation on your husband, or whether you have an expectation on your wife or your kids, and if they don't meet it, we get mad. So I decided I can't keep getting mad. Right? Because for some people, they're going to pick up real quick. They're going to just drive and go, whoa! And some people, it's going to be the first day after 3 months still. That's where the ignition button is. Right? So with my Kalia now, it's like, I don't get mad because every day is the first day. Stay on the right lane. Get in the middle. Signal, brake, slow down. Every day is the first day. Do you understand this? And with my wife too, I would get irritated because I have an expectation on her. So I decided I'm not going to have an expectation on her anymore. If she doesn't know, she doesn't know. She forgets, she forgets. I'm just going to fill in the gaps then. Right? I'm just going to fill in the gaps. I'm going to help her understand. I'm going to help her to help her feel that I'm on her side. And I'm going to help her to be the husband that she desires, instead of trying to make her fit into my world. And when you decide this, whether you're the wife or whether you're the husband, you're renewing the thought process of your mind. Do you understand this? Because your old way got you into arguments. Your old way got you mad. Your old way got you irritated. Your old ways got you jealous. Your old ways got you insecure and scared. So you need a new way. See, you need a new way. You need all right, I'm not going to put an expectation anymore. If somebody gets ahead of me and they get a better job and more money, I'm going to be happy for them. So you got to think that way now. I'm going to be happy. I'm not going to let it eat me up. Oh, because of this, I can't get ahead. Because of my husband, I can't get ahead. Because of my wife, I can't get ahead. See, that's your old thought process. And Caroline Leaf said that when you actually start thanking, you're in a gratitude mode, your brain energy and chemicals start changing. The problem is that we should be always in grateful mode, but we are in complaining mode. And you're in a complaining mode because you keep looking at what someone else got. You fail to realize how good you have it now, right? And if you want more, which is available, you see, when you got saved, you inherit everything with Christ. All the spiritual gifts are available. All the physical blessings are available. Abundant life is available. Healing is available. Wisdom is available. Everything is available. You're seated in the heavenly places, but He don't give it to you all at once. God don't give it to you all at once. He gives you a seed. But within that seed, just like any seed, it has a potential to become something new and something different, right? And so God has given you a seed, which is the Word of God. And you take the word and you got, and that spiritual seed, you got to implant it in your heart. And then you got to let it grow. And all the promises in the Bible will grow into you, onto you. All right, however, but it's got to grow to you. It's not going to just drop from the skies and wow, my prayers have been answered. Even your prayers can be given to you in seed form. Okay? SEED. Not all built and designed and ready-made, turnkey, but seed form. You want to be blessed? You want financial blessing? Well, God's not going to put $1 million in your bank. He's going to give it to you in seed form. Well, go get a job. Learn how to get a job, right? Go learn how to make a phone call. Learn how to go on the internet and do some legwork. Change the thought process, because the old thought process is, I don't know how to find a job. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. It looks overwhelming. I don't know how to fill out an application. I don't know how to do a resume. I never did it. Nobody taught me. It's overwhelming. That's your thought process that's been molded there. So you have to create a new thought process of knowing how to take care of business, of knowing how to do things. How do you create a new thought process? Just start doing it. Just start filling out an application. It starts with name, address. It's not that hard. All right? All you do is have to do it. That's all. See, and when you start doing this, you're going to realize, hey, that was not that hard. See, then you created a new road right there. And so now this road is familiar. So when you have to apply for another job, this road is familiar in your mind, and you're like, whoa, I'm familiar with this road. So you know where you're going. You see that? And then this side weakens. That thought process of I don't know what to do weakens. It starts collapsing. Your brain doesn't need it anymore. It's now sending its energy to the new thought process, because now you changed the thought process. But if you keep feeding the energy to the old thought process, then that's what you're just going to keep on doing. Whether it's you don't know how to find a job, or whether you don't know how to forgive, or whether you want to stay mad, or you want to stay jealous, or whatever the problem is, that's the road that you keep building. And then when you drive or walk to, if you walk into the forest, mountains, you walk far enough, you're lost. Do you know that? The forest, you don't know where you're at. You don't know north, west, south. You're just lost, and you'll die in there. If you were lost in the forest, you don't have cell phone reception out there, you're going to be in serious trouble. And that's how you can be lost in your mind. See, people, you can sit there and your mind could be somewhere else, right? And so you need to renew by changing and deciding. Okay, you need to decide. I'm not going to do, it's not going to be the business as usual anymore. It's going to be a new way of doing business. I need a change. I'm going to stop putting a demand on my spouse to change, or my children to change, or my other people to change. I'm going to change, and I'm going to adjust. And if I have a daughter like Kalia, she's an artist. My wife's an artist. They don't have my thought process. They have a abstract thought process, right? So if training them to drive, something like driving takes a lot longer, then I just have to accept that and tell Kalia she's doing a good job. Even though after the 20th time, I have to tell her, put it on reverse. Right? Whereas maybe if I start training David, because he's a boy and he's been watching me drive, Because, when I drive my daughter, she's just on the phone. She don't watch me how to drive, so she's not learning how to drive. But my David's watching me how to drive. He's watching me what I do, and so when he gets on the wheel one day, he's going to pick it up really quick. Right? Everybody's different. So, renew your mind, which will transform you. Okay, when you change the way you think, you will be transformed, and then you will learn to know God's way. Verse 2 here. Then you will learn to know God's way. Because the old way is I'm mad, I'm offended, I'm jealous. Why this, why that? See, you won't know God's will. You're still stuck on yourself. When you decide to give yourself as the living sacrifice by changing your thought process to adjust to the other person, you're already in God's will now. You see that? You're in God's will now. And that revelation will come to you. You're in God's will. All right? All right. Let's give the Lord a hand. Thank you, Lord. All right. Let's get the holy dancers ready. So Fridays is primarily for the men. So the men have the priority to go up first in holy dance. If you like to go up, men, don't cause a stampede. Maybe, but you can go up. Go ahead. You can go up. We don't have enough men. All right. So let's have those three on the stage. William, Robert, Daniel. On the stage, please. And then scoot over here, Stephen. Let me have Lisa come up here, too. Well, you always go bathroom. I need a thought process on that. Change. So you gotta kind of just force it in. All right. Are we ready? You can start. Booth. Music booth. Oh, yeah.
When you stand, I feel the floor of heaven tremble. we live and have our being. You sing, all my fears are put to what a wondrous thing. I can stand to say, it's when I fall to my knees, you're the one who pulls me up again. What a mystery that you notice me amid a crowd of 10,000. You don't miss a thing. When you sigh, the wind becomes a sonnet. When you laugh, the storm around me ceases. You whisper, and all my enemies are scattered. You surround me with angels on assignment. What a wondrous thing. I can stand to say, is when I fall to my knees, you're the one who pulls me up again. What a mystery that you notice me, and in a crowd of 10,000, you don't miss a thing. 'Cause you see everything. And I am seen, and I am known by the King of Kings and Lord of There's no place I can go, your love won't find me. No place I can hide that you don't see. No place I could fall, your love couldn't catch me. You see it all through the eyes of love. Oh, oh, oh. There's no place I could go, your love won't find me. No place I could hide that you can't see. No place I could fall, your love wouldn't catch me. You see it all, and you're in everything. I just wanna be like you. Come and see me, come and know me, come and search my heart and make me new, make me new. I wanna be just like you. God of creation, there at the start, before the beginning of time. With no point of reference, you spoke to the dark and fleshed out the wonder of light. And as you speak, 100 billion galaxies are born. In the vapor of your breath, the planets form. If the stars were made to worship so loud, I can see your heart in everything you've made. Every burning star, a signal fire of grace. If creation sings your praises so loud, so will I. God of your promise, you don't speak in vain, no syllable empty or void. For once you have spoken, all nature and science follow the sound of your voice. And as you speak, 100 billion creatures catch your breath, evolving in pursuit of what you say. If it all reveals your nature so alive, I can see your heart in everything you say. Every painted sky, a canvas of your grace. If creation still obeys you so loud, so will I. If the stars were made to worship so loud, if the mountains bow in reverence so loud, if the oceans roar your greatness, so will I. For if everything exists to lift you high, so will I. If the wind goes away, send it so will I. If the rocks cry down my heart through all of my failure and pride. On the hill you created, light of the world, abandoned in darkness to die. And as you speak, 100 billion failures disappear. When you lost your life so I could find it here. If you left the grave behind you, so will I. I can see your heart and everything you've done. Every part designed in a work of art, God. If you gladly chose surrender, so will I can see your heart in a billion different ways. Every precious one, a child you died to save. If you gave your life to love them, so will I. Like you would again 100 billion times. But won't measure good amount to your desire. You're the one who never leaves the one behind.
Be still and know that the Lord is in control. Be still, my soul. Stand and watch as giants fall. I won't be afraid. You are here. You silence all my fear. I won't be afraid. You don't let go. Be still, my heart, and know I won't be afraid. We sing, be still. Be still and trust what the Lord has said is done. Find rest, don't strive. Watch His faith and grace align. I won't be afraid, for you are here. You silence all my fear. I won't be afraid. You don't let go. Be still, my heart, and know I won't be afraid. I won't be afraid. prepare a table in the presence of our enemies. We can sing a surely love, surely mercy will follow us all our days, Lord, for all our days, Lord. We trust in you, yes, we trust in you. His faith outlast the earthly fold. His praise resounds beyond the stars and echoes in our hearts. The greatest I was buried beneath my shame. Who could carry that kind of weight? It was my turn till I met you. I was breathing but not alive. All my failures I tried to hide. It was my turn, yeah, till I met you.
Thank you, Lord.
You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. Now your mercy has saved my soul. Now your freedom is all that I know. Listen, the old man knew Jesus when I met you. Oh, what it take when you called my name. Come on, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. This is my story. This is your story. Come on, listen. I needed rescue. My sin was heavy. The chains break at the weight of your glory. I needed shelter. I was an orphan. Now you call me a citizen of heaven. When I was broken, you were my healing. Now your love is the air that I'm breathing. I have a future. My eyes are open. 'Cause when you call my name, shout it. I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. I was buried
One
beneath
more time, man.
my shame.
Go! All right.
Who could carry that kind of weight? It was my turn till I made. I was breathing but not alive. All my failures I tried to hide. It was my turn, yeah, till I met you. You called my name, and I ran out of that crowd. Out of the darkness to your glorious day. You called my name, and I ran out of that crowd. Out of the darkness to your glorious day. Now your mercy has saved my soul. Now your freedom is all that I know. Listen, the old man knew Jesus when I met you. Oh, what it take when you called my name. Come on. And I ran out of that grave. Out of the darkness to your glorious day. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave. Out of the darkness to your glorious day. This is my story. This is your story. Come on, listen. I needed rescue. My sin was heavy. The chains break at the weight of your glory. I needed shelter. I was an orphan. Now you call me a citizen of heaven. When I was broken, you were my healing. Now your love is the air that I'm breathing. I have a future. My eyes are open. 'Cause when you call my name, shout it. I ran out of that crowd. Out of the darkness to your glorious day.
Dream after dream, you are speaking to me, breathing word after word of kingdom come. Here at your feet, I can see the unseen. Truly, one look at you and I'm undone. I run to the throne room, I run to the throne room, and I fall on my face with angels and saints, and all I can say is holy, holy, holy are you, God. My heart can't contain the weight of your name, and all I can say is holy, holy, holy are you. Grace upon grace, all my fear falls away. Only your perfect love for me remains. Oh, time after time, you stay close by my side, burning fire inside I can't contain. I run to the throne room, I run to the throne room, and I fall on my face with angels and saints, and all I can say is holy, holy, holy are you, God. My heart can't contain the weight of your name, and all I can say is holy, holy, holy are you. I run to the throne room before you, the only one. I run to the throne room before you. I'm overcome. I run to the throne room before you, the only one. I run to the throne room before you. I'm overcome. And I fall on my face with angels and saints, and all I can say is holy, holy, holy are you, God. My heart can't contain the weight of your name, and all I can say is holy, holy, holy are you. Signs and wonders from when you poured out your spirit on the old and the young, in the power of your presence, Holy Spirit reign, falling like a flood. Break upon my praise as I sing of your love. Holy Spirit fire, burn within visions of the sun. As I stand in your presence, revelations of your love. As I look to the heavens, Holy Spirit, rain, falling like
uncrossable. There was a mountain, unscalable. Even when my lost heart was unlovable, you spread your arms out, you laid your life down for me. Now I'm set free. Now my heart sings because of your love. Hallelujah, I'm forgiven. The shadow has been lifted. You rescued me because of your love. I can stand with you forever in the presence of my Savior, alive and free because of your where there were years of drought, now overflow. Where there was guilt and shame, now joy is untold. When my heart was prodigal and the lies were deafening, your love was a whisper. Your love kept whispering to me that I am yours and you are mine because of your love. Hallelujah, I'm forgiven. The shadow has been lifted. You rescued me because of your love. I can stand with you forever in the presence of my Savior, alive and free because of your There is no greater love, there is no higher love than this. Your great love. There is no sweeter name, nothing can separate us from your great love. There is no greater love, there is no higher love than this. Your great love. Hallelujah, I'm forgiven. The shadow has been lifted. You rescued me because of your love. I can stand with you forever in the presence of my Savior, alive and free because of your greater love than this. Your great love because of no higher love than this. Your great love. There is no sweeter name, nothing can separate us from your great love. Your love poured out for me, displayed to give you glory. I hear your voice when winds surround me, when trees and ramparts bow, sway for your glory. All creation's pointing to you, so how could I ignore your love? 'Cause you're the God of life, the God of hope. You are beautiful. I surrender all, even if
Precious is my Savior's blood. Your beauty of heaven wrapped in my shame. The image of love upon death's frame. If having my heart was worth the pain, what joy could you see beyond the grave? If love found my soul worth dying for, how wonderful, how glorious, my Savior's scars, victorious, my chains are gone, my debt is paid, from death to life, and grace to grace. If heaven now owns that vacant tomb, how great is the hope that lives in you? The passion that tore through hell like gold, the promise that rolled back death in its stone. If freedom is worth the life you raised, where is my sin? Where is my shame? Oh, Jesus, if love paid it all to have my life, how wonderful, how glorious, my Savior's scars, victorious, my chains are gone, my debt is paid, from death to life, and grace to grace. When I see that cross, I see freedom. When I see that grave, I see Jesus. And from death to life, I will sing your praise. In the one, come on, you see. When I see that cross, I see freedom. When I see that grave, I see Jesus. And from death to life, I will sing your praise. In the water of your grace. When I see that cross, I see freedom. When I see that grave, I see Jesus. And from death to life, I will sing your praise. In the water, when I see that cross, come on. When I see that grave, I see Jesus. And from death to life, I will sing your praise. In the water of your grace, how my soul will sing your praise. In the water of your grace, how my soul will sing your praise. How wonderful, how glorious, my Savior's scars, victorious, my chains are gone, my debt is paid, from death to life, from grace to grace. Take me back to the moment of surrender. Heart completely yours. Unafraid, just a child within your presence, trusting in you, Lord. Walk into this place, I give you space. Come and move around me. Meet me face to face, stir my heart, awaken love within me. Jesus, come. Jesus, come. My first love. My first love. Jesus, come. Jesus, come. My first love. My first love. Take me back to the moment of surrender. Heart completely yours. Unafraid, just a child within your presence, trusting in you, Lord. Walk into this place, I give you space. Come and move around me. Meet me face to face, stir my heart, awaken love within me. Love within me. Jesus, come. Jesus, come. My first love. My first love. Jesus, come. Jesus, come. My first love. My first love. I have wandered from your love, thought my strength was strength enough. I am done relying on myself. You're the one who breaks my chains. You're the one who calls my name. I will look to you and no one else. Jesus, come. Jesus, come. My first love. My first love. Jesus, come. Jesus, come. My first love.
was no way you came to my rescue. From the grave I've been raised. When I needed a savior to save me, Jesus, you made a way. I was blind, but these eyes have been opened. Now I walk in the light. Every step on this road I will follow. Jesus, you made a way. You are the way. You are the way. Lost and dead, but your love came to find me. Jesus, you are the way. You are the way. You are the way. You're the light shining bright in the darkness. Jesus, you are the way. Jesus, the only way. All my days are secure in your promise, never standing alone. You're the truth, you're the life, you're my future. Jesus, you made a way. I'm alive in the love that you give me, free to dance once again. You will lead me from glory to glory. Jesus, you made a way. You are the way. You are the way. Lost and dead, but your love came to find me. Jesus, you are the way. Oh, Jesus, the only way. You are the way. You are the way. You're the light shining bright in the darkness. Jesus, you are the way. You are the way. You are the way. Lost and dead, but your love came to find me. Jesus, you are the way. You are the way. You are the way. You're the light shining bright in the darkness. Jesus, you are the way. Here we go. See that? You are the way. You are the way. Lost and dead, but your love came to find me. Jesus, you are the way. You're the only way. One time. See your hands up. You came to save the world, to rescue me, to
me back on solid ground. Sin whispered lies, but your love is drowning out. I'm alive in you. I'm alive because of you. Jesus, have your way. Breathe on me. Speak your life into my soul. Your voice calls me out. Stirs my heart. That's what makes me come alive.
That's more. Holy fire 3 times. Holy fire. Holy fire. Holy fire.
You give me freedom, a brand new life. Nothing can silence this hope I hold inside. Now and forever, your way, not mine. I'm made to worship, I'm here to testify. I'm alive in you. I'm alive because of you. Jesus, have your way. Breathe on me. Speak your life into my soul. Your voice calls me out. Stirs my heart. That's what makes me come alive. That's what makes me come alive. Your ways are higher, your will is greater than all I see, than all I know. Your plans are for me, you'll never leave me. If I have you, I have it all. I have it all. Jesus, come and breathe, come and breathe. That's what makes me come alive. That's what makes me come alive.
Fire never sleeps. I feel the heat is rising. The flames are not rising. They're at my door. I'm staring at the ruins, the embers of our brokenness scattered on the floor. This fire never sleeps. This fire never sleeps. I see that hope is coming to pull me from the ashes, ignite my soul. Please burn away the darkness, 'cause love is like a furnace where fire never sleeps. Come on. Set me on fire, light up the fire, stop. I never want to miss you. Something new is being born, and we were born for this. Lord, we know a day is coming when we look into your eyes and see a fire that never sleeps. This fire never sleeps. can't afford. I'm not chasing feelings, that's not why I'm singing. You're the reason for my song. With every voice. I only wanna sing if I sing with everything. If I sing for you, my
strength in our hearts and let us not grow weary. Steady our souls and make us brave in the fire. Let our faith become a mountain that will rise and never fall. Lifted high above the valley, we declare your kingdom come. We will cling to what you promised till the day you call us home. Let our faith become a mountain we stand on. Know the end and the beginning. You see a way when hope is fading. In our hearts and let us not grow steady our souls and make us brave in the fire. Let our faith become a mountain that will rise and never fall. Lifted high above the valley, we declare
Holy Padre time! Holy fire! Holy fire! Holy fire!
mountain we stand on. Unaffected by the no matter what the cost. No more worry, no more fear. Every doubt will disappear. Our faith become a mountain that will rise and never fall. Lifted high above the valley, we declare your kingdom come. We will cling to what you promised till the day you call us home. Our faith become a mountain that will rise and never fall. Lifted high above the valley, we declare your I see your face in the dawn of every morning. I see your majesty in the stars that fill the night. I stand amazed I'm captivated. Close to your heart. Throughout the age, you never change. I'm captivated once again. Here in your arms, close to your
Hallelujah, mama.
It won't run out on me. It won't run out on me. Your love is stretching from sea to sky. It won't run out on me. You won't run
Holy Father. Holy
One thing I ask for is I see all that I want, all I need to dwell in the house of majesty, beholding the beauty of my King. Oh, my soul, oh, my soul. All blessing, all honor, all glory.
Holy Qualified.
There's nothing that can stand against the praises if we don't shout the praises His praises, it's glorious. Shout it out, make it loud, make it louder. No other word is like our God. Lift it high, lift him up, lift him higher. Praise to our God. His name is worthy, oh, sing praise to
Fire! hallelujah, mana rama sera mana hallelujah, mana
Let your love be the shining light, breaking
Thank you, Lord. Let's give the Lord a hand. That'll be it.